Good morning. How you like this bed head? We're doing Periscope all natural today. All natural bed head today. Woo, people buy products to make their hair look like they just rolled out of bed. Me, I just rolled out of bed. Actually, good morning. Good morning. I'm actually not just rolled out of bed, but clearly I haven't done any personal grooming this morning. When you, I'm gonna rock my bed head. Watch out. When you, I just want to give you guys this warning, a disclaimer, so to speak. When you guys do a lot of personal work and you're deconstructing your story and you're rewriting your stories and you're making all these changes, you make a lot of changes in your head. Here's what I'm finding out. Then you make a lot of changes inside your body, like the feeling of the being inside of your body. And then your body will actually process stuff out. So don't be surprised if you can't get a cold, or you get a horrible, UTI that sends you out running to the store at 7 a.m. Or, if you have stomach upset or stomach issues, we don't need to go into detail. But don't be surprised when you're doing a lot of personal change. It's very normal to have some physical, detox effects. I really don't like using the word detox because I think it's overused, and I think it's used to sell a lot of unnecessary physical detox products. We have a detox. We have a detox in our body. It's right here. It's called your liver. It's doing its job. Anyway, but it's processing the changes. When you make changes on the inside, the physical matter changes, and that includes your actual body car here. So, not surprising. I'm blasted through a lot of changes in the last few days, and I'm having some physical responses to that. So, it probably will not stay on very long today. But I did want to tell you, and then we'll read our Tao Te Ching. The other thing, a really massive thing, this is where I left us yesterday on our cliffhanger ending. A massive thing that got told to me in my phone call with Jody England was that I was still, even in conversation, approaching making money and finding money for things that I want to do as a sacrifice, as a struggle. These aren't her exact words, but it is what it means. So when I was speaking to her, hi Erin, when I was speaking to her, I was saying that, I wanted the magic school so bad that I would do anything. That's where my mind had been. Like, I would sell plasma. I've never had to sell plasma, but, I know people who have. And, that's how I was viewing it. Like, I want this so bad, I'll go work at the Walmart. I want this so much, I'll, whatever. And she was saying, you can look at it the opposite, that, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I've had several friends who do it and who have done it. And, it's not that big a deal and actually pays pretty well. So it's kind of always in my head as a, next step above bag lady. If I'm getting that low, I can go sell plasma. And you get to watch TV for an hour or whatever. So, she pointed out to me that I was looking at raising money for a project as this difficult thing. Like, if I want something, it has to be so hard to get. Like, it wasn't even in my energy to imagine that the money could come to me easily. That, my mom could help me out. Or I could increase my enrollments. Or, all these other easy things could happen to bring money for things that I want. And instead, I was viewing as what difficult thing am I going to have to do to get what I want. So that was really eye-opening for me, among many things happening in the last week, that I still view having an income as hard, as difficult. Hi! Hey, Michelle Lee won herself a ticket to Palooza. The Ula oils were always I'm always yammering about. She's going to get to go have a 1 or 2 day workshop with those guys for free. Yeah, so I was really grateful that she pointed that out. Yeah, ulalife.com. I think they're still giving away some tickets. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So it's so automatic, Susan. Yeah, we learned it. So last night, I'm running right now a Desire Map group for people who are in the Young Living business to like apply these principles to building your oil business in a way that's not offensive, in a way that, is a vehicle for your passion for how life-changing these have been for some of us. And, sharing that and also supporting yourself by being a small business owner. Young Living pays it is an MLM, which puts people off, but it pays the highest rates to its distributors of any other company. We're their advertising team. They don't have an advertising team. We do that, and we support ourselves and our families by doing it. So we've been doing that, and then last night we had a discussion about this. Hi, Carrie, that we are justifying when we get good things. So we work so hard to get through our blocks so that we increase. Hi, Angela, get our manifestation is another word. I have a lot of problems with words. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's like I don't know what else to call it. We want to increase our incomes, and we know that we have personal belief systems that are in the way. So we work through those, and we, get through those blocks, and things start to come in, and nice things happen, and then we feel like we have to justify that. Hi. So even in our speech, we're saying, oh my gosh, I got this cool thing, but, don't hate me for it. Don't kick me out of the tribe. I don't want to die on the street as a bag lady. So we say, I got a raise at work, but, I had to work really hard for it. Or, and I also have these extra expenses. So, don't hate me because now I have more money than you. Oh, snap. And as we were talking in the class last night, which we talked for 2 hours. I might as well just schedule classes for 2 hours because I can't seem to get it under that. But we were all doing it. And even in talking about doing it, we were doing it. And calling each other out on it. So we're like, oh, but you just said that thing. You're limiting. You're justifying. And we're like, oh, crap. It's like you can't even talk about money with making excuses that you have money. So it got started on car conversations. We got upgraded to a Mercedes once when my mom and I were, coming back and forth from Denver to Atlanta all the damn time. And I wasn't as uncomfortable as I would have been a year prior to that driving a big-ass Mercedes, but I was super aware, like hyper aware of people looking at it and what they might be thinking. I was also really enjoying driving it, and then I also discovered that the big-ass Mercedes are not that comfortable. And I wouldn't buy one if I had the money, so I was kind of glad I got to drive it. But I was aware of it. I was aware of my discomfort with it. We were talking about when we get something, we feel like we have to justify it. I say something about my house, and I always say, and it's tiny, which is ridiculous because I picked this house because it's tiny. That's what I wanted. But for some reason, I feel like I need to justify that. Don't hate me because we live in paradise. Our house is really small. Underneath all of that is just that need for approval and that need to be in the tribe and not end up a bag lady and dead on the street somewhere. If you trace all your fears back and all your justifications, it always comes down to death, which is why no one likes to go see an existential therapist. They don't want to deal with their anxiety about death. But my views are existential therapist in nature because it's true. So watch yourself. When you're trying to build your business and you're choking on how much your product costs, even though you know that the value far exceeds the cost, are you gagging on telling people how much a kit costs? What's up?
Hi, buddy.
Hi.
You're on TV?
I am on TV.
All right.
I'll come out there in a bit. He's busily refinishing the cabin, and he's doing a great job with it. It's got walls now. It's got insulation. It's got paneling. Yes, it's a lot to process. But, if you're choking on your product price, there's some work to be done. If you're invested in remaining at a certain financial level, I'm not kidding, including my bedhead. When you get a raise at work, are you justifying it? When you have a sudden leap in your financial status, do you feel like you have to work yourself to death in order to justify it, even if you don't really need to work that hard? I have watched someone, or I'm aware of someone who had a quantum leap in their financial situation and worked herself half to death in justification there was no need to work that hard. But it's like you have your friend group, you have your social group. It's the same thing happens if you're overweight and all your friends are overweight and you start losing weight. You get cast out of the tribe. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it myself, and I've watched it happen to other people. If you're in a group that drinks all the time and you stop drinking, you get kicked out of the drinking tribe. So it's possible that we have that one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake thing going on when we're trying to make progress in love or money. Yeah. Because we're afraid of losing our friends. We're afraid of what our family's going to say. If we've all bonded over our poverty and all of a sudden somebody's not poor, what happens? What happens? You get rejected. My father grew up in extreme poverty, abject poverty. Working in the crops when you're a child kind of poverty, working in the fields, pulling crops when you're a child. All his brothers and sisters were children, sharecroppers working in the fields when they were little. Old enough to drag a bag and pick something off a plant and put it in the bag, they were out in the fields all day. So he was determined to not be poor. And actually it drove him to an early grave, but because he didn't handle it, he didn't know. But his family talked shit about him constantly, even as they were always asking him for money or vehicles or resources or support. So they wanted his support. They wanted to, rather than take his success and use it to launch their own success, they just started viewing him as a source of income, a source of financial resources. So he didn't get kicked out of his tribe, but he became like the Bank of Joe. It was not a healthy situation. So look at that. When you're trying to get through a block and change something in your life and it's not going anywhere, it's not supposed to be that hard. If it's that hard, there's some fear under there. There's a part of you under there that's not on board. You can ask yourself, like, which part of me not only doesn't believe that this goal is possible, but is afraid to have it happen because of what that may mean for my life. Am I willing to feel the discomfort of disapproval? Am I willing to be kicked out of my tribe? Do I want this goal this much that I'm willing to go through what those changes mean, what they're going to mean for me? And often when you prepare for them, you don't ever have to experience them. It's another one of life's little ironies, that when you're ready to stand your ground and defend your territory, you often don't have to. So this little schmuck was supposed to be getting neutered today. Good morning. Yes, this far and no further. And the vet had to go to the doctor, so he's not getting snipped today, which is kind of a bummer. I really wanted to move him inside the house today. He's messing up my office. He's got spring shed going on, plus he's a pest. He's worse than talk about being on the keyboard. But let's read our Tao Te Ching, because that's what we came here to do. That's what happened on my call, is she pointed out to me that I was still viewing having what I want as requiring a great deal of sacrifice. So cute and such a snuggle baby. He loves to be on my lap. He will eventually settle down right here on the desk next to the computer, or, I can put him off my lap onto the desk and he'll go to sleep and just stay right next to it. So he's super sweet. He really is. He's just, that's why he's here. But we are going to start moving him indoors even before he's neutered. He doesn't spray, and I need to get him out of here. So let's read our last, I believe, our next to last, our Tao Te Ching thing. Oh, next to last. We're almost done with this, and then we're just going to start it over, and then we're going to start the mind-body code. It can be easy. Anything is possible. I don't have to expect that moving this cat inside is going to be difficult. I don't have to think that if I want something good, I'm going to have to work myself to death to get it, or go sell plasma, or sell everything that I own. Instead, you can say, how can this happen? What are my opportunities to make this happen? What else can I open up to? Where can I open in my energy to bring in more love, or more money, or more peace, or whatever it is that you feel like you don't have enough of? What else did I write down? Where can my systems open to allow more in? Actually, I was going to read this to you yesterday and I forgot. Is it safe? That's a question you can ask. If you're setting a goal and it's been a struggle, you can ask, is there a part of me that doesn't feel like the achievement of that goal is safe? Maybe it's dangerous for some reason because I'm going to get kicked out of my tribe or whatever. Where can my energy systems open to allow in blank, whatever it is? And then listen. Because what happened for me is I started asking these questions, then I started getting the stories and the reasons why things are the way they are. I feel compelled to rescue animals. I do it because I love it, but I also feel there's a little hint of compulsion there. There's a little hint of I have to do it, like I don't have a choice. All this stuff is coming up, because of this little knucklehead right here. My aunts, collected kids. Both of them had foster kids, and adopted some of them. We were always at social worky type events as kids, and always volunteering, going to carnivals and social events for deaf people. My aunts were translators, and I just can't help but wonder if collecting cats is an outgrowth of growing up with collecting kids. I sure don't want a bunch of kids, but cats are cool. Maybe. Something to consider. If I want to rescue cats, I want that to be my choice. Good morning. And not a compulsion to do it. Because, we're exceeding maximum capacity. So let's read about freedom. Oh, honey. Cats are easier than kids. They are. You can leave them alone. They need to have friends. But you can leave them unattended. So, freedom. Let there be a little country without many people. That's Wyoming. Let them have tools that do the work of 10 or 100 and never use them. Me too. Let them be mindful of death and disinclined to long journeys. They'd have ships and carriages, but no place to go. They'd have armor and weapons, but no parades. Instead of riding, they might go back to using knotted cords. They'd enjoy eating, take pleasure in clothes, be happy with their houses, and devoted to their customs. The next little country might be so close the people could hear cocks crowing and dogs barking there, but they'd get old and die without ever having been there. So her notes say, this Whaley says, another translator, says, this enduring vision can be understood in the past, present, or future tense, however the reader desires to interpret it. This is always true of the vision of the Golden Age, the humane society. We're always reaching for a vision of some kind of utopia. Christian or Cartesian dualism, the division of spirit or mind from the material body and world, existed long before Christianity or Descartes and was never limited to Western thought, though it is the craziness or sickness that many people under Western domination see in Western civilization, that separation. That separation is killing us. Lao Tzu thinks the materialistic dualist who tries to ignore the body and live in the head, and the religious dualist who despises the body and lives for a reward in heaven, are both dangerous and in danger. Very interesting that we've been talking about connecting mind and body a lot lately. That the missing piece for a lot of us has been moving our thinking, letting go of thinking and moving more into feeling. getting out of our head and doing more body-centered activities when we're processing, well, all the time, but when we're processing physical change or personal changes. And I'm going to read that again because I totally agree with it. The materialistic dualist who tries to ignore the body and live in the head, and the religious dualist who despises the body and lives only for a reward in heaven, are both dangerous and in danger. So enjoy your life, he says. Live in your body. You are your body. Where else is there to go for now? Heaven and earth are one. As you walk the streets of your town, ow, you walk on the way to heaven. Oh, look at that. I'm sure this is why he got kicked out. Ow, okay. Whoop. Okay, that's fine. Whew. Epinephrine. Adrenaline in the system. Here, let's find a toy. Ouch. He's ouchy. Oh, I gotta trim his nails. Whew, he really got me. He's got one little dew claw that I didn't get, and it's sharp as a razor. Little monster. So, I like what this says. You are your own little country. Oh, he's something, all right. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of playing with, he has a scratching post, but he doesn't know how to use it, so we're working on that. And we're working on getting energy out with, he likes crackly paper and aluminum foil. So, we've been having playtime to try and teach him, get his energy out, not on my skin piece. You're your own little country, right? And when we leave our own little country ourselves, oh gosh, he must be that kind of cat because he doesn't like strings. Enjoy your yoga. You're welcome. Love to you. When we leave our own body, when we leave our own little country, we get in other people's business and we get in trouble. We start trying to control all the other little countries and we screw things up. So if we stay in our own little country, if we stay in our own business, if we mind our own borders and boundaries, we have armor and weapons, but we don't need to use them if we stay in our business. We're aware of death and disinclined to journey away from ourselves. We have the tools to do a bunch of work, but we can use them or not use them as we see fit. We have choices and options when we stay in our business, which to me is staying in our own little country, staying within our own borders, staying mindful in our own existence. We enjoy eating. We take pleasure in our clothes. We're happy with our house, and we're devoted to our customs, daily practice. And the next little country person is so close that we can hear them, but we don't go into their space. We don't go into their business. Even your own spouse and your very close family members. You can offer advice. You can ask if people want your advice. You can ask if you want to have a conversation about something you see somebody struggling with. But you don't, you give people the option. You don't just move in and do it. That's a very powerful chapter to me about just minding your own business and being respectful of other people's countries and borders. On a micro level. I think on a macro level, we do good to consider that too. I have to, politically wonder if we're a mess because we've just so overextended ourselves in other people's business, in their business. So, let's see what Stephen Mitchell says. If a country is governed wisely, its inhabitants will be content. They enjoy the labor of their hands, and they don't waste time inventing labor-saving machines. Since they dearly love their homes, they aren't interested in travel. There may be a few wagons and boats, but these don't go anywhere. There may be an arsenal of weapons, and nobody ever uses them. People enjoy their food, take pleasure in being with their families, spend weekends working in their gardens, delight in the doings of the neighborhood. And even though the next country is so close that people can hear its roosters crowing and its dogs barking, they are content to die of old age without ever having gone to see it. That temptation to see into other people's lives whether it's appropriate or not. It wastes your energy. It causes problems in relationships. And even when you're not actually acting on it, having the impulse to do it, people can feel that. Plus, it can be a major way that you avoid doing your own work. If you're always busy, taking this, wanting to, what is it, take the splinter out of your neighbor's eye when you've got a big old fat log in yours. You need to work on your own big log in your own eyeball and not worry so much about what other people are doing. Do you guys like how I butcher the Bible verses? I mix them all up. I can never remember where they come from. I just remember how some of them make me feel. Yeah, you don't act on other people's problems, but they're taking up a lot of your mind energy, which is better spent on your own life, in your own little country. Byron Katie's chapter today is, it says, if a country is governed wisely, its inhabitants will be content. And for me, going through this Tao Te Ching study, I'm turning that personal, it's written about governments, but we're our own government. And if we govern ourselves wisely, we are content. It doesn't mean you're not reaching for goals and doing things, but you're content with your at, and you're content to let other people have their process too. So she says, I am content doing the thing in front of me. Yeah. Nope, that's the best way that I know. It's the best way that I know of. A daily meditation practice is the best thing that I know of. Whether that's a moving meditation or a coloring book meditation or riding a bike or sitting on a cushion, doing yoga, whatever. It's the best way I know of to stay aware of where your energy is going. So, perfect. Good for you. It's a really good way to handle it. I'm content doing the thing in front of me since my mind doesn't conflict with what I do. It has no reason to. There are no beliefs that would get in the way. Because the world is internal, I don't search for anything outside. Everything outside is inside. I have no need to meet anyone other than the people who enter my life, so my life is a continual invitation. I invite everyone and everything to come and go as they wish. All experiences are welcome here. There is never anything alien to the mind at peace with itself. It is its own joyous community. I get up at 4 and notice the warmth that I rise out of. The pillows, the rumpled sheets, the sleeping body of my husband, this body rising, and as I walk to the bathroom, I notice the substancelessness of it all. The dream of where I am standing now in front of the sink, and I notice that as I stand, I am literally being born right now into this unknowing. Just because I call it a wall, a mirror, or a ceiling doesn't make it that. It's something more beautiful than any word can imply. Reality is a continual creation in the moment, brilliant in its simplicity. The delighted onlooker that I am watches it go to the toilet, brush its teeth, walk the stairs, brew tea, sit down, as if it were a puppet with no puppeteer. What will it do next? It sinks into a corner of the couch, becomes the woman drinking the tea, and the woman becomes as still as the wall or the ceiling. And it notices the woman being breathed in and out. I am the cup, the tea. I am the tea in the darkness, flowing through the system that dark and endless and never projecting its end, always following and open to whatever could be better than this. And now I am nothing. Now I am a pond. Again, nothing. A cloud, rain. You get the picture. That's a label. Oh, the cat here. That's a label-less moment in time, and hopefully you've experienced at least a brief span of time where a thought is suspended, or at least beyond your awareness, where you're just aware. It is like a third-person awareness, where you're just there. You're just one with existence, and you aren't labeling, and you aren't struggling, and you're completely content in that moment. And typically, for a lot of us, those moments don't last very long, but we can learn to extend them and access them on purpose, which I can do now. I can access that on purpose But it takes practice, and the daily meditation or some kind of daily connecting practice to yourself, whether that's a book study or some sort of spirituality practice, is the only way I know of to wake up and become aware and hear the things going on in your head and hear the unconscious scripts that you're acting out in your life by collecting cats instead of kids, and other things of that nature. So, I can't, I say that all the time, but it's really, really true. Some kind of daily practice is the only way I know out of a mindless existence, out of being asleep at the wheel, I guess. Being asleep at the wheel hasn't gotten us very far. Oh my gosh, he's so naughty. And the only way to wake up is to practice waking up and extending your waking up times when you have a moment, when you're aware of all of life, all that is. So I hope that makes some sense to you, and if you haven't experienced that, this is my deepest wish for you, is that you do, so that you know what it's like, so that you can revisit it and amplify it and practice that state of existence. Because in that state of existence is when truly magical things happen. Synchronicities, happen. Things you've been working toward break loose, and then your body breaks loose. So that's where we're at today. We are where we are, and we just practice, and we learn skills. These are skills just like any other skill. They can be learned. These aren't magical, mystical things reserved only for priests or monks or, super special people. Anybody on the planet can learn to live this way. It's not a big secret. It's just practice. So, I think that's all I have for you today. Yesterday we talked a lot about looking at where we're getting help in our life and refusing it. So you get tricked into longing for those divine moments, but they're fleeting. They are in the beginning, but they don't stay fleeting. It really is just a skill. The more you go to your practice, the more you long for it. You long for it because it's home. You know that that's what home feels like. Those moments where you're completely connected into the whole of everything, that's home. So of course you long for it. The longing is what keeps you committed to your practice of experiencing that more and more, and of extending it when it is happening. The problem is, a lot of times we realize it's happening, and then we snap ourselves out of it, because then we start analyzing it. Oh, it's happening. Oh, I'm in the place. Oh my gosh, what is this place? The place. And then we start labeling it, and then we're out of it. But once you've been there, you can get back to it. Usually happens for people in nature, in the beginning anyway, but it can happen anywhere. You can experience it in the airport. You can experience it on a bus. It's just a skill. So keep going, keep practicing. I know it really lends credence to the whole collective unconscious quantum physics field soup thing that we talk about. We are kind of getting to see that in action. We are getting to see evidence of it, because we talk about these things in the morning, and I'm sure that somebody scoped about something similar before me, and somebody will after me today. It's everywhere. All of a sudden you're just like, oh, it's everywhere. And my personal belief is it's always there, but we don't hear it until we're ready to hear it. We can hear stuff, and if we're not ready to hear it, we don't. And then all of a sudden we hear it, and then we hear it everywhere. Yeah, we do. And some people will say, well, the planet needs us or whatever, but I don't know that I believe that. I think there's just different levels of existence, and one is not better than the other. But as a group, we all tend to move and evolve at the same general speed, and seems like we're evolving and changing and moving in packs. Maybe we run in packs now. We've gone from lone wolf, which is something that Jody said to me on the phone, is that we've been lone wolves, And now we're becoming pack animals again, and we need each other more than we have before. It was okay to practice alone and struggle through these things alone, and I think we've all built a lot of skills in doing so. But now it's time to grow faster and more efficiently. I love efficiency. When we do group work, it's faster, it's more magical, it's more powerful. I much prefer doing group workshops over doing individual sessions. There's a time to do individual sessions when you really need to dig into a specific issue or something that's not budging. But overall, especially in person, I think we lose something being on the phone. But even on the phone, powerful breakthroughs happen and things change with group work. Group energy is it's exponential. So, all right, my dears, I'm going to go see if I can tire this little kitty out and make plans to start moving him indoors so that I can have my office back to myself. And then I'm going to get my husband to move that garbage out of the back, or I might just sneak it out and see if he notices. All right, I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye, lovelies. Congratulations. Please give yourself credit for all the hard work you've done and are doing. And I would ask you today to spend some time thinking about where you were a year ago. What patterns have already changed? How are you already seeing life so differently? A year ago, you were not the person you are today because you all have been working your asses off. All right, love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.